In the ever-turbulent crossroads of celebrity, law, and immigration, another name has found itself engulfed in chaos, not just a name, but a legacy. Julio César Chávez Jr., son of a boxing legend and former champion himself, now finds his world spiraling in a direction no fighter ever trains for. From the glittering lights of title fights to the cold, steel grip of federal custody, the transformation of Julio César Chávez Jr.'s narrative has been nothing short of staggering. On July 2, just as the sun rose above Studio City, federal agents arrived. Not reporters, not boxing officials, not fans, but agents of ICE. And with little spectacle, but heavy consequence, they took the 39-year-old fighter from his home. Not to a gym, not to a court of sport, but to the custody of the United States Department of Homeland Security. And now, just days later, a singular, disturbing question echoes through Los Angeles Superior Court, through the boxing community, and across the borderlines of two nations. Where is Julio César Chávez Jr.? Because on Monday, when Chávez Jr. was expected to appear in court, not for a title defense, but to seek early release from a pretrial diversion program related to a gun charge, his seat remained empty. Not fashionably late, not rescheduled, empty. And his attorney, Michael Goldstein, stood in front of a judge not with answers, but with uncertainty. Not with a defense strategy, but with a simple, harrowing admission. "I don't know where my client is," he said. Not the words of a novice attorney. Not the script of a courtroom drama. But the real-time truth of a legal system entangled with the machinery of federal enforcement. Goldstein said he was informed just 2 days earlier, not by ICE, not by the court, but through informal channels, that his client had been taken to Hidalgo, Texas, and placed in the custody of DHS. That is where the trail ended. When asked if Chávez Jr. is still in the United States, Goldstein gave the kind of answer no advocate ever wants to give. "We have no idea. We have no information, unfortunately." Those words speak louder than the silence in the courtroom. Because this isn't just a question of one man's location. It's a question of accountability. Of transparency. Of who gets to decide the future of someone caught between the ropes of law and identity. Julio César Chávez Jr., a man who once stood proudly in the ring, draped in championship gold, now finds himself reduced to a line in a federal database. A deportation subject. A name on a list. A number in a system that rarely answers back. According to DHS, Chávez Jr. was apprehended outside of his home and placed into the fast-track process for expedited removal. No press conference. No hearing. No goodbye. Just like that, gone. And the irony couldn't be more profound. Because Chávez Jr. was scheduled to ask the court for leniency. To show the steps he had taken since his January 2024 arrest for gun possession. To prove that he had earned an early release from a court-mandated program. To turn a page. But now that page is soaked in confusion. Because how does one argue for leniency when one cannot even stand before the judge? How does justice move forward when due process gets sidelined by deportation protocol? How can a defense be mounted if the defendant may have already been flown across the border? This isn't just about boxing. This is about what happens when immigration enforcement and the criminal justice system move in separate directions without coordination or conscience. And Chávez Jr., whether admired or criticized, is now the symbol of that breakdown. He is no longer just the son of Mexico's greatest pugilist. He is no longer just a former WBC middleweight champion. He is now a man adrift. Neither his lawyer, his family, nor his fans know where he is. And DHS isn't saying much. When USA Today Sports asked for clarity, they were simply pointed back to a press release issued on July 3, one that confirmed the arrest, outlined the intent to deport, and left everything else to speculation. No comment on current status. No answer to the court. No update for the attorney trying to navigate a now uncertain legal battlefield. For all the headlines Chávez Jr. has made over the years, the wins, the losses, the controversies, none may prove more consequential than this. Because this is not just about fame or fortune. This is about fundamental rights. About whether a man facing legal proceedings on American soil can be removed before those proceedings have run their course. About what it means to be held accountable by the law, but also protected by it. And about whether even a name as famous as Julio César Chávez Jr. can withstand the crushing weight of the system when it decides to move without notice. There is a deeper story unfolding here. One that doesn't end with a fight card or a judge's gavel. One that cuts to the core of what justice looks like when immigration becomes a shadow trial. One that reminds us that even champions can be swallowed by the machinery of bureaucracy. As the world awaits answers, the silence grows louder. And every minute that passes without clarity is another jab to the face of legal process. Julio César Chávez Jr. may not be in the ring right now. But make no mistake, he is in the fight of his life. Not for a title, but for due process, for dignity, and for the right to be seen, heard, and defended, before he is removed, erased, and forgotten.